Okay, and we're back. Oh my god, hot start for the podcast. Holy shit, it's Russell
Arianna's back.
and she's back. How are you?
I'm
How
good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Busy. That's the answer that I'm going to give is mad busy. And I know I haven't really gotten into it on the previous episodes, but grad school is attacking me from all angles.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a wild ride and stuff. How are you? How is your new job?
Yeah, jobs. Yeah, two new jobs. So I actually quit my old one, and I have two new jobs. One's about an hour away, but I only go on the weekends, so it's really not that bad.
Hmm.
And then the other one is just 3 days a week. So it's two part-time jobs that actually equal out to be a full-time job, if you think about it.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. I mean, that's a really solid gig doing part-time stuff because I'm like with my job that's not grad school, I'm sort of like a full-time part-time person because I don't work full-time hours, but I'm there every day. So I know what you mean. And
Yeah.
it's really solid. So, yeah.
Yeah. They're a
Um
lot of fun, but I mean, they're both what I are in the realm of what I want to do, so it's obviously better than
yeah,
the other one was.
definitely. And you said I'm going to give a shout out to a few people. I promised two Uber drivers I'd give a shout out. What's up? Um how are you? Thank you for driving me safely. That's very clutch of you. Even though it's also your job, but that's very clutch of you. Also, you said you have a friend who's like a priest who listens.
No, so my parents had this thing over the house where it's like on the road mass,
Uh-huh.
and the priest at my brother's old high school comes and does mass at someone's house.
Okay.
So we had a mass actually in my neighbor's driveway because there was like over 70 people, and they wanted to do outside because the priest wanted to. And I was talking to my next door neighbor's son, and he's a professor at a college near me. And we were talking about, podcasting and how he got into it for his school and how he got a grant from a high school in the area that wants him to teach the high school how to do a podcast because the podcasts are up and coming and people are getting more into it. So I was talking about our podcast, and he was like, wait, does it have these people in it and they just talk about random stuff? And I was like, yep, that's probably it, yeah. And then he showed it to me on his phone, and he was like, yeah, we've listened to you guys.
That's hilarious. I think that's the best description I've ever gotten of this podcast. Is it these people and they talk about random stuff? Yeah.
Yeah.
That should be the tagline for the podcast. It's just some people talking about some shit, honestly. Also, thank you for listening and finding us. I very much do appreciate it. I always love the support, and I guarantee I'm less of a piece of shit in real life.
Okay.
Um,
Tell
just,
people to
just
go look out for it. That was the thing.
exactly. Yeah, people don't realize, and like they'll meet me in real life. I told you there's an Uber driver who I was with, not the Uber drivers I'm shouting out. What's up? Also, I'll shout out this guy. What's up? Who knew about the podcast when I told him about it. Like he knew who like I was before I introduced myself because he heard my voice, and that's weird. And now he knows where I live because he picked me up at my house. So yeah.
He's like that, what, maybe like 2% that actually know where you live and who you are?
Yeah, I know. That's why I changed my name on Facebook and on LinkedIn and stuff. But yeah, it's okay. Don't worry about it, everybody. Um, on that tangent and a half, have you seen Jojo Rabbit or The Lighthouse?
I have not, but I've seen the trailers.
Okay. Would
Yeah.
you be able to see Jojo Rabbit or The Lighthouse by the time we record our next episode?
Yeah.
Okay. I was supposed to go to a screening of both of them on Sunday because we're recording this on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
I was one sick and two writing a script, and so I wasn't able to go. But like my friends went, and they said they're both fantastic. So I really do want to talk about them on the show. But I'll give a little plug. I was just at the Chicago International Film Festival because I do live in Chicago. Go to film festivals, guys. I saw some really cool stuff. Like, really, really cool stuff. I saw a film called The Orphanage, which was a real bummer and a half of a movie, but it's really good. I don't want to spoil it, but it's very, very well done. And it's a lot of child actors who really sell the shit out of that film. So definitely go. Yeah. How about you? What have you been up to other than 2 new jobs?
2 jobs. Basically about it. I mean, the only other movies that I have seen was The Joker. And I watched the new Eddie Murphy movie on Netflix.
His new movie on Netflix?
Yeah, I didn't know about it. My dad put it on. We watched half of it, and then I just got up and left. But I mean, it was funny, but I don't know why I just couldn't finish it. I had to go do something.
Yeah, no, I understand. There's a lot of films like that are like, oh, this is good, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did like The Joker. I know you guys already did a podcast about it. I was actually listening to it beforehand, which is what brought up my memory of it.
The longer I've said on the film, the more I don't like it.
Okay. Yeah.
Not in a bad way. Not like I think not like it is the wrong word. I think the film, how do I put this in the least harsh way? The film has soured on me a little bit, or it's lost its shine. Maybe it's because our climate of media is so negative all the time. But the film, Joaquin Phoenix is fantastic. The film is essentially Taxi Driver with a clown. But I don't know. There's something about it that I'm like, I think I need to re-see it. And then I'll be like, oh, okay, I do like this.
Yeah. I was trying to get one of our mutual friends to try and see it because I was texting him. And he was like, oh, I haven't seen it yet. And I was like, I think, at least in my opinion, Joaquin's Joker was better than his character in Her.
Yeah, because he didn't want to fuck a smartphone.
Yeah. But it was like the same, I said, like, methodical move to, I'll do like a quote-unquote crazy.
Yeah. Have you seen the movie The Master? The one where it's like about Scientology?
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit like that.
Yeah. But I did read somewhere that the composer, whose name I am blanking on, and I apologize, she wrote the music off of the script.
Huh. Interesting.
Which is different because, I'm not sure you know in film, the composer gets
the finished product
first, then writes it.
Yeah.
So that scene where Joaquin's in the bathroom and he starts that... that was his real reaction to hearing the music while they were filming.
See, that's really cool. That's like a really reactive way to film. I think that's super, super interesting. Now, as someone who has directed and does DP work, which is cinematography, director of photography stuff, that'd be so stressful on set. That's like one other piece you have to worry about besides lighting, staging, actors, like everything else. And then if you have to worry about music besides just normal audio pickups, I think all of my hair would turn gray. It's really cool, and it definitely makes sense for that scene, but damn, that's bonkers.
I mean, I'm sure, at least in my perspective, that the DP, the producer, and the director would have all heard the music beforehand, just the actors wouldn't.
Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying.
I think so. I could be totally wrong, but to me, that would at least make sense.
Yeah, for sure. That's a cool fact.
And it was cool to see, because they shot, we all know that I live in New Jersey, so I'm going to out myself out a little bit. 2 New Jersey scenes, I go through there basically every day.
Really?
Yeah. Like, the scene where he was at the theater.
Yeah.
That's where I used to work.
Really?
Yeah, that's the old, very historical courthouse that they are not allowed to tear down.
Wow.
And then the final scene was outside of a very old movie theater that the Jehovah's Witnesses kind of bought out. So like they use that for their like meetings or whatever they do. I don't really know what they do. That was there, and the area it's called Journal Square.
Right on. Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Like, my dad and my brother, we all picked that. We're like, oh, that's that.
That's super cool. That's how I was when there's any film in Chicago. Or The Lake House, which is a Keanu Reeves Sandra Bullock movie that filmed in my hometown. Like, actually, like, my hometown. So it's really weird to see, like, things where, like, huh, that's weird.
Yeah.
That's there. But yeah. So yeah. I was going to say a thing about a thing. Apparently, the Game of Thrones prequel series, or one of them, isn't going to happen anymore.
Yes, I heard.
I don't know which one it's going to be, but because they're making a few of them.
I think they said who it was. Because they named the actress in it.
Yeah.
Find it. Naomi Watts.
Yeah, the Naomi Watts one.
And did you see that the creators left
Star Wars? Yeah, I saw that today. That Dan something and Dave Benioff and Dan Weiss, or Dave, maybe I have their last names flipped.
I don't know, whatever
It's
it is.
Benioff and Weiss are their last
Yes.
names. And their first names are Dan and Dave, but I may have their last names and first names wrong or flipped back and forth. However, yeah, they left Star Wars, which, you know what? Game of Thrones was solid up until the ending. And I mean, I guess just like an Olympic event or anything else, if you don't stick the landing, you didn't stick the trick and you didn't stick the event. However, that show is pretty incredible up until the last season. And even in the last season, there's some pretty cool shit. I think it's the last episode that they really fucked.
Yeah, I mean, you can't make everyone happy, but at least like make majority of the people happy.
Yeah, I mean, like the ending was an ending, but it was also the Lord of the Rings ending. So I mean, that's fine.
There was a theory that they ended it like that because they were done, which I can kind of understand. Like, you work on a project
for that many years,
and you're kind of like, all right, we know it's done. End this chapter in our lives, move on. But everyone was saying they ended it early so they could start Star Wars.
Yeah, now they're probably just like, shit.
Well, now, because what I read was that their Netflix deal, it's I think for 5 years, and they would have pushed back the end year if they did Star Wars, because Star Wars is coming. Their Star Wars they were doing was coming out in 2020. And their Netflix deal is supposed to start in 2020.
Oh.
They're supposed to have something in 2020 for Netflix. So that would have pushed the Netflix deal back. And that's what they're saying is why they left Star Wars. Was because of their Netflix deal.
Interesting. I think they're just doing damage control right now. Yeah, I mean, whatever. Good for them. They made a shitload of money off Game of Thrones, and they're probably very, very talented people. They're definitely more talented than I am.
Yes.
So, yeah, whatever. Good for them, maybe, I guess, or something. But that's like probably the biggest piece of news that I have out of everything. Disney Plus launched its big fuck off lineup of everything that's going to be on there. Which, I mean, good for Disney Plus. That comes out next week or in 2 weeks. I'll probably be subscribing to it. I'm not going to lie.
Yep, same.
And then there is Apple TV Plus has a bunch of shows that have come out that people say are fairly good to very good. So, yeah, you never know. There's a lot of options out there. And then there was a story yesterday or today about how Netflix, Apple TV Plus, Amazon Prime Video, and Hulu want to end binging. Because binging is bad for business, because people come in for a month and then leave once they, like, power through all their shows. So they want to have things be, like, more like the Great British Bake Off, which is just TV.
Yeah. So, I mean, when Netflix first came out, I wasn't that big on the binging. I was like, oh, I could just watch, one episode, go do whatever. But once you start doing it, you can't stop.
Yeah.
You have some people who have self-control. But for those who don't have that much self-control with TV watching, binging is just so much easier.
It is. It's astronomically easier.
And that was the whole point of Netflix.
Yeah, it really. And I mean,
Netflix, and now you're going to take that away?
I know. I have mixed opinions about. I get it from a business standpoint why you wouldn't. But also, dude, come on.
Because it was like when Chernobyl came out right after Game of Thrones, an exceptionally good show.
Yeah.
People talked about it for the length that it was from the first episode to the final episode, and then you didn't hear anything else.
Exactly. And I mean, Chernobyl was fantastic. It was really good. And if you all haven't seen Chernobyl out there, watch it.
I listened to Script Notes, which, shout out to them. It's another podcast about, like, just script writing in general. They had the creator on from Chernobyl.
Yeah.
And he said that he originally wanted it to be, if I'm remembering it right, that he wanted it to be a movie.
Interesting.
But then he realized all of the events that he wanted to put in that were more important wouldn't have made sense in a timeline of a movie.
Yeah, you need it to be like
the series.
7 hours or whatever it is. No, yeah, I mean, I could definitely have seen that as a film, but it works better as a miniseries. It definitely, it is such a complicated and important story that definitely fits itself better as a miniseries. So. But yeah, so,
I have a little sad news.
What's the sad news?
Robert Evans, the producer of Chinatown and The Godfather and Rosemary's Baby, passed away at 89.
That's horrible. Big loss. Also, all of those movies are fantastic.
Yes. So, thank you to him for backing that with money or getting people to do it, because they are
fantastic
pieces.
Especially, I mean, Godfather, obviously, but if you haven't seen Chinatown, go see Chinatown. It's Jack Nicholson.
Oh, great.
It's so good. It's fantastic.
And Rosemary's Baby.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit underrated.
That's a movie I saw for the first time in undergrad, like film school undergrad. Yeah. That's not a film I organically saw, but it's really good. Definitely go watch it. If you like that type of thing. If you don't, that's fine. Wow. Sorry, I was just reading a news thing that's not that interesting. But we have more trailers for shows like The Mandalorian and everything else Disney streaming service, which is fantastic. I don't know what to think about it because I haven't seen it yet. There's a lot more coming out about the Robert Pattinson Batman movie castings. I'm not going to speak on it, like news, like every little piece, until there's official stuff. I know Jonah Hill is out. He wanted to be the Riddler, but he was asking for a shitload of money. Okay, here's what I think. Jonah Hill is talented. He can be funny when he wants to be funny. He can be serious when he wants to be serious. But dude, get off your high horse. Like, you're not Mr. Hollywood. You know what I mean? Like, there are more talented actors out there. There are more charismatic actors out there. It's like you're never the top of the food chain. So if you start like doing that whole like money debate thing, in the eye of the general public, and I probably think in the eye of the producer, you just look like a shit. And that's not me saying I'm better than him, but it's like, dude, like someone's offering you a really good role and all this other stuff. Just do it, bro.
Yeah. I mean, I get it because like, I at least think from my perspective of looking at how actors do this, I have no knowledge of it. But if they're in a great film, like, let's look at like, I'll use George Clooney. Years of experience, look at all the success that he's had with like Ocean's 11, 12, and then Up in the Air. His pay rate goes up after every movie.
Oh, yeah.
At least I'm looking at it. So Jonah Hill probably thinks because of all the massive success that he has had, which is, you know, granted, you know, kudos to him for doing that. He probably thinks that his role will be paid more.
But he's also always been in an ensemble cast. The only thing that I can see him really of doing himself was mid-90s, where he directed it last year, 2 years ago, which is an A24 film. Yeah. But, I mean, of course, that's incredibly difficult and everything, but dude, like, why are you trying to, like, negotiate for a shitload of money? You probably already have a shitload of money, and you're young. You're, like, in your 30s or whatever, dude. Like, So
Although I
don't
could
know.
also see the person that they're saying is going to be the Riddler as the Riddler.
Yeah, it's the dude from Swiss Army Man.
Yes.
Yeah, that
Getting
guy is
something, I don't
super
know.
creepy. Like, not in a bad way, but even in Swiss Army Man, near the end of that film, like, there are some scenes where I'm like, damn, this dude plays creepy and really, like, really confused and upset quite well. I'm a big fan. I totally ship that. And yeah,
Yeah, I also think it's kind of funny because he was also in The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
he was in The Amazing Spider Man too.
So, Marvel and DC Comics, both villains.
Yeah. No, I think he'd be good. I think he'd be fantastic. I'm so stoked to see him in a role like this and getting more exposure because he's kind of a bit actor, but I think if you put him in a huge role like this, it will definitely shine light on his talents.
Yeah, he was good in Life After Beth.
Yeah, he is in Life After Beth.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
But since we're talking TV shows and everything, there's a show that I really want to talk about. Not his Dark Materials, which comes out this Sunday, which I am or next Sunday.
No, yeah, next Sunday. No, this Sunday.
Is it this Sunday?
No, it's the 4th, whenever the 4th is.
The 4th
think
is that is the Sunday.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it's Monday. Monday.
Oh, so okay. Well, it comes out Monday then. That's his Dark Materials. I'm hyped for that. But we're talking about another HBO show, and we are going to be talking Watchmen. So, first question. Are you aware of the 1985-86 graphic novel Watchmen? Have you read it? If you haven't, have you seen the movie? If you haven't done both of those, are you aware of what the story is? Because I can give the audience a really big debrief on it if you have not seen it.
I have not read the graphic novels or seen the movie, but I have an older brother who has read the graphic novels and gave me a little bit of background before the TV show.
Cool. That's perfect. That sets this up great. So, Watchmen. It's written by Alan Moore, who we all know is a British wizard who hates all adaptations of his own work. It's fine. And Dave Gibbons, who did all the art. The story takes place in 1985, an alternate 1985, where Richard Nixon never was impeached for the Watergate thing. I know it's more than just a thing, but he was never impeached for Watergate. So he's still in charge. And in this universe, there is a group of people back in the 40s called the Minutemen. The Minutemen were a group of vigilantes. None of them had superpowers, except for one guy who developed superpowers, whose name is Dr. Manhattan, who joins the Watchmen as well, which are like the younger version of the Minutemen. So they're in the Minutemen. I don't remember all of their names, but the big two characters that we need to focus on are Night Owl Part 1 and Silk Spectre 1. Night Owl 1 used to be a cop who decides to become a vigilante, which comes into play in the TV show. Then we have Silk Spectre 1, who is the mother of Silk Spectre 2. She was in a very complicated relationship and also raped by a character called the Comedian. That's how the graphic novel opens, is with the mystery murder of a man called the Comedian, or Edward Blake. He's pushed out of a window in his apartment skyrise by a mystery assailant, and that's how the story starts. It's from Rorschach. It's from his perspective. Rorschach is the guy with the twisty-turny Rorschach blot mask, who is sort of this private detective type character who has some very unsavory methods of getting his way. And the story basically follows Night Owl and Rorschach trying to uncover a mystery on why the comedian was murdered. It's important to note, probably for the show, because I'm assuming Night Owl will eventually be in the show, that he is impotent. In the movie, no, but in the book, he's impotent. And eventually he has sex with Silk Spectre and gets, I don't want to say gets over it, but he conquers his impotency. Impotency. And that's a thing, and that's a big plot point of the book. But there's a character named Dr. Manhattan, who's the big blue naked guy, who essentially is God. He is the son of a watchmaker, and he's an engineer and gets trapped in this like particle accelerator type thing with a watch, trying to grab it for his fiance, and essentially gets transformed into an all-powerful creature that can manipulate time and space. And because of this, he doesn't use his power for evil, really. He kind of loses touch with humanity because he's like, I can see everything. He's like, I'm literally all-knowing. So he kind of leaves to Mars. There's a bad guy named Ozymandias who's trying to stop world wars. He's trying to create world peace. And in the book, he does this by teleporting a squid into New York with the technology of Dr. Manhattan, kills like the entire city of New York. This forces the entire world to come together to figure out what's up with this squid. So Ozymandias does solve his problem, and Rorschach is like, I've been writing all this shit down. I'm going to publish it if you don't like tell me what's up. And Dr. Manhattan's like, that's not a good idea. Seriously. Like, he just solved a huge problem. And Rorschach's like, you're going to have to kill me if you don't want this to happen. And Dr. Manhattan zaps him to death and explodes him like a cherry. And then his book does make its way to like the New York Times. Flash forward to 2019, in the Watchmen show, a bunch of people have taken Rorschach's journal completely the wrong way, because in the show, Rorschach, or in the movie, and in the graphic novel, Rorschach's not racist. Like, there's no sign of Rorschach being a white supremacist or anything like that. He's just some dude who is trying to like get to the bottom of some mysteries, and his intentions are, in theory, in the right place. He's just a really messed up dude who just wants to do the right thing, but will literally kill anybody in his way to get there. So that's a breakdown on Watchmen. I know I skipped over a billion different things. If you have read the book, I've read it a couple times. It is one of my favorite books of all time. It's on the Time Magazine 100 Best Books of All Time, period. It's literally incredible. You should definitely read it. The movie's good, but they changed the ending a little bit and some of the other motivations of the characters. But the movie is a good stab at it. I think it's a pretty good adaptation, just like how 300 is a good adaptation of the graphic novel 300. Mm-hmm. But the show. So, Arianna, what is the story of the show so far?
So far, it basically starts off kind of like the book and the movie. It takes place in alternative reality. 34 years after the events of the comic series. So you have the vigilantes, once here have been outlawed because of their violent methods. And then now, the whole thing. But the show actually starts off, which I thought was very interesting, present day in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So after you have the show starts out with the riots, and then you kind of transform to today. And it goes off into the white supremacist group called, I think it's the 7th Cavalry.
Yes.
And it's just about, violence against minorities. And the police are forced to wear masks.
Yeah.
Because you find out later on in the episode with Regina King that years ago it was called the White Night, where the 7th Cavalry came to all of the cops' houses on midnight on New Year's Eve and killed everyone.
Yeah.
Besides Regina King and the
Judd.
Yeah. Judd. Yeah, him. And now ever since then, law enforcement has to wear masks covering their faces, and Regina King's character is no longer a cop anymore. I think she's a baker.
Yeah.
Or quote unquote baker, secret hideout for her, I guess, vigilante antics.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
Yeah, so the reason she didn't get killed and the reason the police chief didn't get killed is because the police chief was in on it. He was one of the people in the 7th Cavalry, and in the scene, in the flashback in episode 2 where you see this happen, you see there's another 7th Cavalry member getting ready to kill Regina King's character, and then we cut to black and see his face. Later we see he's a member of the KKK. He has literal skeletons in his closet, or metaphorical literal skeletons, and we realized what was going on. There was an inside man in the police department, and he was trying to stir up chaos by lifting this gun hold. So in this alternate future, all police officers have their guns electronically holstered into their holsters, and they have to get a reason to pull their gun. So they have to like essentially call into the station and be like, "Hey, I need my gun," and the station will like essentially digitally unlock them. So that's like how the show kind of opens. It actually opens up with the Tulsa, Oklahoma massacre in 1921, which is a real thing. And I don't understand why we don't learn about that in school. I only knew about that because I watched a documentary that talked about it when I was in high school. I was like, what? This is a thing? But yeah. And so it opens with that, which I'm sure will come into play more and more throughout the show. But yeah, so I know that was a very, very, very brief overview of the 2 episodes, but this show is saying a lot.
Yes, it's very, I wouldn't say politically correct, because I know that's not the right term. I guess, is it?
It's very topical.
Be, like, politically aware.
It's very politically aware and very topical for right now, for our world. And I think a lot of stuff the show's doing needs to be said. And they're doing it in a very, like, they're doing it in a very fuck you kind of way. Like, we're going to say it. And I think the show is better for it. A lot of shows will, like, shy away from doing stuff like this. And they won't show it or they won't say it. But this show's like, no, we will show violence. We will show brutality. We will show, like, what happens on this side of the equation or on the other side of the equation with how white supremacy kind of manifests itself and how, like, being overly defensive manifests itself. And I think it's fantastic. I think the show is so well done. I did not know what to expect because I love Watchmen. I've read all the before Watchmen comics because I'm a big comic book guy. I also read part of Doomsday Clock, which is this Watchmen DC crossover. And I was thinking the show was going to be that, which is going to be a fucking nightmare. But it's not. It's very political not in obnoxious way.
Yeah.
You can watch this show and be like, oh shit, kind of thing. But never feel like you're being targeted. Unless you're like a white supremacist or like a Nazi, and then fuck you. But yeah, I find this show fascinating. What do you think about the twists at the end of each episode? P.S. This is all spoilers.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I actually the most recent one, I did like how they told Dr. Manhattan's story.
Yeah, with the play.
At first, I didn't get it. Well, because I didn't really read the books or anything, so I didn't understand it. But then once they did it, I kind of, well, someone had to tell me. But like then, like thinking about it, I could tell. So I liked it. And this might just be me overthinking it, but Miss Crookshanks, the name of Hermione Granger's cat in Harry Potter. So I don't know if it's in the book, but I do know that Warner Brothers owns HBO. Warner Brothers helped produce Harry Potter.
In the book, the only thing I could see that's an attachment between them is in the book, Ozymandias, who's played in this by Jeremy Irons, is the bad guy in the book. Ozymandias has a giant cat. Like, it's the size of, like, a tiger, but it's a lynx, and it's purple, and his name is Bubastis. In the book, he has that. It's genetically altered. It's a whole thing on why he has it. But I could see that's why one of his clones is called Crookshanks, because it's the name of another cat, but it's more of like a far reference. Or maybe Crookshanks is the name of a cat in mythology as well that I just don't know about, because Bubastis is the name of something in Greek mythology or Egyptian mythology, because Ozymandias as a name, he's obsessed with, like, in the book, with Egyptian culture, and on his temple it's like, I am Ozymandias, like god of, or king of gods, like kneel before me and pray. It says, like, on the door of his, like, place in, like, Alaska or Antarctica. The book is kind of weird, but I could see that being a connection as to why that's a reference. I was like, oh, there you go. It's another cat that he has.
Yeah. I mean, also that's my presumption of it, but it's also like, I just felt like the media conglomerate kind of owns it, so they
can use the name.
Yeah, they can use the name, they can do whatever they want. But what did you think about Will?
I thought the whole Will thing, so I predicted that Will was someone. So Will's a little kid from the Tulsa, Oklahoma massacre. We see at the beginning, and we realize he's the old guy in the wheelchair. I knew he was going to be the old guy in the wheelchair. But I thought the baby that Will picks up was going to be the old man in the wheelchair. I didn't know it was going to be the kid. But I thought it was fascinating that he is Regina King in the show's grandfather.
Yeah,
and he says he has friends in high places, and then he gets lifted up by that magnet and taken away. So I think I don't think he actually has powers, but I think he does actually have friends in high places, literally and figuratively. And I have a feeling maybe he's working with Ozymandias.
Could be.
Because Dr. Manhattan's kind of indifferent towards humanity, so that it's not a Dr. Manhattan thing. Or maybe he's working with Night Owl. Because that's Archie is the name of Night Owl's ship, and the police have one, and they crashed it in the first episode, is what the name of that ship is. Because it's short for Archimedes. Is what the ship's name is. But, yeah, I found it very interesting. And I think the show, with the raining squids being a reference to the comics, the show has enough references to the comics to have nerds like me be like, oh yeah, I know what this is about. But it also has enough new things for someone who doesn't know a lot about the show to be hooked. Or know a lot about the property to be hooked.
So, somewhere I read that they were saying this is not like a sequel to it, but it's a remix.
Yeah, I could see that being a good term for this show, being like a remix for it. Not because a sequel, you're right, it's not at all a sequel. That's just not what it is. But it is. It's more of like a pickup of the show, where, like, okay, the events of the show happened in such a way. Here's the universe now. Mm. It's like, I don't want to say fan fiction. Sorry, I'm tying something because the show's about professionalism. I think it is a really good like fan fiction of what would happen in the Watchmen universe after Watchmen. And I think it nails it in every single way. Not only from this like political standpoint, but also the show, it's one of those things that I think it just kind of says what it needs to say and what it wants to say. And I respect the shit out of that. Yeah.
So, I don't know if you know about this. I only found out through a text message.
Very cryptic, okay.
Yeah. On HBO's website for Watchmen, you know how they have like this, they have a stay up to date section.
Yes.
This thing called Introducing PDpedia, where after every episode, they'll release, I think it's 2 or maybe more little articles about the episode.
Okay.
So it gives you more context and background on what you saw, and it's saying it's from the special FBI agent Dale Petey, who I'm assuming we're going to get to know in the show.
Yes. I don't know that name, but just like there's a character we saw in the like next time on Watchmen, it's the FBI agent, that's Silk Spectre. That's her.
Okay.
So that's Silk Spectre from the original Watchmen, older, and clearly she works for the FBI now. So we're going to get her as a character, and knowing her in the books, she's going to come in and kick ass and take names. So I'm very excited to see that. And I think the show, this conspiracy and this whole thing with the 7th Cavalry and everything is going to go really deep. It's going to go really high up. And I have a feeling President Robert Redford in the show will get involved.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think it's going to go all the way up. And I think it's going to lead into multiple seasons. I don't know how many seasons this show has. I don't know if it's a 1-season thing or if it's more, but yeah.
I think it's just one season for now. They haven't put anything up there. But looking on their Wikipedia page, that tells you more. There's going to be 9 episodes.
So it's just a miniseries?
For now, yeah. I'm assuming maybe by episode 4 or 5, they'll put out a thing like it's renewed for another season because they want to see if the viewage is going to be the same. Which it kind of is.
Yeah, I think it's really good. I think a fair amount of people aren't watching it yet. Maybe they'll start watching it next week, or maybe even after season 1, because they haven't read the book. They don't know about it, or maybe saw the movie and didn't like it. Yeah. I'm going to tell you, watch it. It is really well done. There is sci-fi elements, but it's very light on the sci-fi. It's topical, and it's a good watch. Get into it.
If you want gore action, it has it.
But not super heavy on the action.
Yeah, no. But I think it's like... I think HBO is trying to find that next Game of Thrones.
I think so too, and I think their smartest move is to do something like Watchmen or to do something like His Dark Materials, which is so drastically different than Game of Thrones. I think for the best, because I think there is a little bit of GOT fatigue.
Yeah.
Especially how poorly the ending was received. I think people want something different.
Yeah. But I think they might not necessarily find the exact match, because I don't think you will find it, because Game of Thrones just reached every single viewer.
Yeah.
Like, not just for, like, the nerdier people, or, like,
it didn't just reach weird, like, nerdy people and film school people. And, like, there's guys I, like, go to the gym with every day who watch Game of Thrones, who you'd never think they would, but then they're like, bro, Game of Thrones? It's fire. I know Daenerys is going to do this. It's like one of those things where, like, everybody watched it.
Yeah, like, I got my old coworker into it.
Yeah.
Granted, it was obviously final season, and I was like, you have to watch it. She binged it within 5 days.
Yeah, she just watched
She watched all of it, and then rewatched it after she was finished with it.
Which, you know what, Game of Thrones might be a show I'll go back to in 5 years, maybe.
Yeah, because I remember my aunt and uncle, like, before the new seasons used to come out, they used to stick the previous season.
Mm-hmm.
Just to refresh their minds, even though you get the refresher when the next season starts. And they're like, you notice different things.
Yeah, definitely. And I know when I started watching, I didn't come in directly at the beginning. I saw the first parts of the first season, but I got in really invest in season 2. So I was in pretty much from the beginning. But yeah.
What was it? When season 3 was halfway over.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't watch from the beginning.
Yeah, but it's all good. You were there. You were there for the ride. But yeah, so that's Watchmen. It's good. We did have another topic. Do you have stuff for the other topic? Because I'm drawing a blank.
A little bit. Like I did Google something, so I was like, I only came up with like 2 ideas.
Same.
And I was like, you'll probably have more.
No, I actually didn't this week. Yeah, it usually turns into one of us doing research, and the other one not, and it kind of goes back and forth. I think this week we both didn't do research, which is totally fine.
Professionalism.
Oh, this show, if nothing else, is just a professional. It's just an experimentation in how to be the most professional person possible.
Yeah. Take cues from us of what not to do.
Exactly. This show is all about maximum amounts of effort, or minimum amount of effort for maximum amounts of result, or something. But yeah, Halloween is coming up. Are you dressing up?
Yes. Very last minute, because I didn't think I was going out on Halloween.
What are you dressing up as?
I didn't get a costume, so I'm going to use what I have around the house. So I'm probably just going to be a biker, because I have a leather jacket. For some reason, I have a bandana sitting in my house. Mm-hmm. And I'll just put on, like, dark makeup, and...
There you go. See, I'm doing Indiana Jones because I also have leather jacket, I have khakis, I have, like, the messenger bag, the white shirt, like, all the stuff. So I don't have a whip, but I do have sailing line from when I was a sailor, so I'm going to just have that around my waist.
Well, my friends and I, we're going to go with Thelma and Louise.
Oh, right on.
We're going into the city. So so I was like, what if like we're the only ones dressed up at a bar? Which looks weird. So Thelma and Louise.
Yeah, you can just play that off.
Yeah. But she's going as a serial killer, where she's just wearing black and having like the serial names.
Oh, yeah.
Like a punny costume.
Yeah.
She's not a real serial killer, I promise.
But no, yeah, that's how I usually do Halloween, is I like low effort costumes. Mm-hmm. So one year I was Bob Ross, and I just literally wore denim on denim, and I had a curly wig.
Yeah, I was gonna be blackmail, just wear all black and just get envelopes put in my house. But then I was like, I would lose my mom's envelopes.
Exactly. There's a thing. So I'm doing Indiana Jones. I've done like the brawny paper towel man in the past. I've done like Captain America. I've done like superhero ones, just because I'm tall and I'm white. So most superheroes, and you just wear like the alter ego. So you just find like an Under Armour shirt that is theirs, and then you just wear anything over it.
One year I was the Flash, and that was only because my friends and I went to Hot Topic.
Oh, flashback. Okay.
The day of Halloween, and they had like the superhero T-shirts. So we each picked out one of them. We were just a group of superheroes.
Yeah, I know on your Instagram there's one where you're Superman.
Yes, that was the second night of superhero Halloween, because we all just switched shirts.
That's awesome. See, that's how you do it.
I could have been a soccer player because I just have like a lot of jerseys.
Yeah.
But that was like, oh.
Yeah, I could definitely do the whole sailor thing and have like all my sailing gear, but then I'd look like a shithead. So I think Indiana Jones is definitely doing some damage control on that.
Yeah.
I know. I'm so uncreative when it comes to stuff. People told me I should be Peter Parker because I have cameras.
Oh, yeah, you could, yeah. Next year.
I know, next year, when I look even older. I'll be Tobey Maguire or Peter Parker, where he's supposed to be like 17, but he's clearly like 28.
Yeah.
I won't be 28 next
Halloween,
year.
If you want to come to New York.
Hell yeah. And I'll be Peter Parker. I'll be like fat Peter Parker.
Rooftop bars are only $25 if you pay in advance.
A lot of them in Chicago for Halloween are mad expensive.
40 at the door. 40 at the door.
Yeah, there was a bunch I was looking at over the weekend, and for this weekend, they're like $85 plus for like tickets, and I'm like, fuck that.
Yeah, my friend and I were like, we're just gonna find like a dive bar or like a cheap bar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was gonna do this year. I don't know. This isn't like a flex, but I've lost a bunch of weight recently, so I'm like 6'4" and I weigh like 170 something pounds. So I was gonna like put like, I don't know, do something and be the fat Peter Parker from Into the Spider-Verse, because my friends say I kind of look like him, just with the stubble and the haircut. And I was just gonna wear a Spider-Man shirt with sweatpants and like one shoe.
If you shaved, you could have been on Baby Driver.
I could have, except I don't like that movie.
You have a bomber jacket.
I do have Bomber Jacket, but I don't like that movie, partially because Kevin Spacey's in it. And
I played Edgar Wright, and I thought he wrote brilliantly.
Yeah,
but then the Kevin Spacey thing kind of did bring it down.
Yeah, so that's why I can't really watch that movie anymore. I mean, yeah, Ansel Elgort does do a good job, and that's a mad easy costume. It's literally sunglasses, Apple ear buds, bomber jacket, jeans. Boom.
That's it. It's low effort. We love low effort.
Yeah, low effort costumes are good. I mean, I think that's a pretty iconic low effort one as well. I mean, Indiana Jones is pretty low effort.
You can do Shaun of the Dead. You just would have to find a tie.
I have that exact shirt, and then you just get the red splotch on it, and you have a red tie. Yeah, and I don't have a cricket bat in my garage, but I have this really old, not like wood doesn't rust, but it's like waterlogged baseball bat, but I'm sure I could go find a cricket bat somewhere or like something, and I could be Shaun of the Dead, but I need someone to be Ed. What?
Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon. I could definitely do that, just because I have a similar-ish haircut to him right now.
What did I do? Oh, one year my friends and I went, there was like 8 of us, we went as like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Yeah. See, that'd be good.
By different color beanies.
Yeah, exactly. But I wish I had a celebrity look-alike. I don't think I really look like anybody else who's a celebrity. So if I did, I would definitely go as that person. But I don't actually think I look like anybody.
That app that everyone's been doing, like you take a photo of yourself and it tells you who you look like, but then it's not really who you look like.
Yeah, exactly. And then like somehow Russia or North Korea has a picture of your face, and then they're gonna use it to murder people. Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah, no.
I'm not about that.
What was that other one that they did where it was
That's
like...
the face age one. The agent.
Yes.
Yeah, that one. Yeah,
Oh.
North Korea's gonna find you and like eat you or some shit. I don't know. But do I look like anybody? Do I have a celebrity look-alike? Because I actually don't think I do. No one's ever told me.
Like, now I'm gonna have to try and find it out.
Because
I'm just gonna spend all night doing it because I have nothing else to do.
Exactly. See, the thing is, people have been like, "Oh yeah, you look like this guy." I'm like, dude, no, I don't. Like, I can admit when I do look like somebody, but there is nobody. There's a few people. There's a news reporter named Jonathan Vigliotti who does stuff for CNN occasionally, who I look a little bit like. Like, I will pull up a picture. I know this is bad radio or podcasting or whatever, but I'm gonna pull this up.
Viewers, just Google him. You can do it with us.
This guy, I don't really... I see it a little bit, like, not up close, but, like, far off pictures, like this. I could see that, like, a little bit.
Oh, yeah, far off, yeah.
Yeah, I could see a little bit, but our faces don't... We have this, like, the same face shape. Like, we have the same face shape, roughly, and a similar haircut, but I don't look like him.
No, it's not like your doppelganger.
Exactly. Like, I don't have one. And if I did, I would definitely just dress up as that person every year. However, I don't have one. So I'll have to figure that out. I have literally an entire year.
You mean you didn't just, like, meet someone on the train who looked exactly like you?
No. I've literally never met someone.
It's not like Twitches, you just...
Yeah, no, I know. Also, I'm really uncomfortable on the train, and I don't really look at anybody because I don't want to start anything. Because
I put phones in and look down so no one talks to me.
Yeah, I'm massively passive when it comes in like public situations. Or like if I'm at a bar, I'll be a shit and I'll like tell people to get the fuck out of my face. However, anywhere else, like a bus, a train, any other like public setting, I'm just so quiet and I'll like just like skirt around people.
I'll just sit there on my phone if I'm at a bar waiting for someone. I'll just sit there on my phone and like hope no one talks to me besides the bartender because like they're providing me with drinks.
Exactly. But yeah,
like, I'll be polite, but like
I'm just awkward. Oh, I'm profoundly awkward. Like on this show, I mean, I have to talk a lot because it's a podcast. But
it was like public speaking in front of people. No.
See, I don't mind public speaking. I don't like public settings like clubs or really busy bars. I get really uncomfortable. But I like concerts for some reason. I think it's because you're all looking at the same thing. But when it comes to a setting like that, I fucking hate nightclubs. 1, I'm 6'4". 2, I'm so awkward. I can't dance. And like it just doesn't work.
I'll go to like a crowded nightclub, but I have
to be like sauced.
I have to be.
See,
I don't like it. I don't think I should be spending that amount of money in a nightclub.
Exactly. And for longtime viewers, they know I can't drink alcohol. Not that I don't like want to. I can't. So nightclubs for me are just like a fucking loud room of shitheads. And like, I'm sure there's nice people there. Yeah, I know. People, I've said this on the show in the past, and I've gotten like hate mail. People being like, you're an asshole because I've gone to nightclubs and dude, fuck off. Like, I get it. There's cool people there, but it's just a bunch of drunk dicks.
It's not for everyone. There are some people who are like, why would you go to like a low-key bar?
That's my scene.
I love low-key bars. Or it's also like you get those people, like my friend and I, we went to the Cauldron.
Uh-huh.
So it's not a Harry Potter themed bar. It's inspired.
Yeah.
By it. So there's like all these little fancy drinks and all of that, like really, really fancy. And we were like, my friend and I went because we were like, we really wanted to go to the Beetlejuice bar restaurant. Yeah. We could not get a reservation.
Ooh, rough.
We did get one, but that's for next month. So,
yeah.
But it's a Halloween theme. It's all year round, I think. So we did get it. But I was like, oh, why don't we just go to this one? I see there's a reservation, and we can easily go for 2.
Yeah.
So I go there, and let me tell you, the amount of people that were in that bar, restaurant, insane.
Yeah.
Outside was absolutely insane. But, like, it was the people that, like, just looking at them, I would not have expected them to be in this themed setting.
Yeah.
Like, I just went because I was looking at the menu and some of the stuff sounded funny and good.
Exactly, yeah.
Plus, I wanted to see what the special drinks were.
Yeah. No,
but
I totally
understand. There because they get you. Because my friend and I, we would order drinks, and then we would look by and see all these other fancy drinks come out, and we're like, well, why didn't we order that? And then we would order it.
Yep, that's how they do it.
How they do it.
Yeah, see, if any of you people in the real world want to find me on Thursday nights, most of the time, I go to a bar in Lincoln Park in Chicago called The Other Side. Find it. I'm usually with a bunch of my friends, Danny and Diego and Bang. We're all always together in a table in the corner. That's where we go. Partially because they have Touch Tunes there, which is that app where you can control the jukebox from your phone and fuck with people with the music. It just turns into us playing like either a lot of Celine Dion, a lot of 90s hip hop like Wu-Tang, or a lot of 21 Pilots. Or the Strokes. It kind of goes in between like those 4 or 5 different sets, just depending on the mood we feel, because we want to subject other people to our shit taste in music. So, that's like my vibe, because it's like, it sometimes is a karaoke bar, but it's just a bar that's connected to an Italian restaurant, but it's like next door. There's like a door that connects the two, kind of like hotel rooms. Mm-hmm. So you can order food from the Italian restaurant, and if you're at the Italian restaurant, you can order food from the bar next door. And they like connect, like the kitchens connect to each other as well. But it's a really cool vibe. It has a bunch of Christmas lights up in it. You've seen my Snapchats from it. It's very like cozy feeling.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't really fuck with it.
No, I don't like it. I mean, like, if my friends are like, oh, let's go, like, okay, I'll go. But in my head, I'll complain the whole time.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, I'll probably have fun when I get there, but then when I'm, talking about it, like, the next night, I'll be like, I didn't want to go.
Yeah.
So, my night, which is how every single one of my nights go out whenever I go out.
Oh, yeah. No, I've gone out with friends and stuff in the past, and I'm like, oh, yeah, this is going to be sick. Like, fuck yeah. And then you get there, and you're like, why the fuck did I do this? I could be home. I could be literally doing anything else. I could...
Yeah.
It's like one of those... I would rather be at home pulling splinters out of my hands than being here. Like, I just don't like doing it. I'd rather just go for a fucking walk.
Yeah, like... Oh, it was for New Year's Eve. My friend and I, we just stayed in her apartment. We made burgers from, like, scratch. And watched shitty movies all night.
See, boom, that's a night.
Nice. And then I was talking to, like, one of my other friends. She was like, oh, did you go? I was like, oh, I went, to the city. And my friend, she was like, oh, did you go to this bar? I was like, no.
Yeah.
New Year's Eve is, like, the legitimately worst time besides... anytime you're in Times Square, to be in New York City.
Yeah.
I had a horrible time getting on the subway because everybody and their mom was trying to get off at Times Square to go stand in that stupid line for the ball to drop.
Yeah.
So I got delayed. I was like, why would I want to go outside in the cold?
To do that.
When I could be inside
Not
in my pajamas with my blanket on, watching movies and just... sitting there getting drunk with a friend.
Yeah, see, like, people hear me say this on the podcast or something like you saying that, and they're like, wow, you're boring. No, I got this shit out of my system when I was in college, and now that I'm in grad school and not in college anymore, like, I see my friends going out, and then they'll, like, text me at, like, 4 p.m. the next day, like, bro, I still feel like shit. And then I'm like, yeah, I got up at 9 a.m., I went to the gym, and I've done an entire day's worth of shit, and now we can, like, hang out and do whatever. But, yeah, and they're like, yeah, I was out till, like, 5 a.m., and, like, I spent, like, $86, and then, yeah, and then I ate, like, 2 burgers, I vomited, and then I went out again. It's like, dude, what the fuck? That sounds horrible. That sounds like an actual nightmare I've had. Like, that in college is fun because you can get away with it because you live there. But then, like...
And your is, I'm in college.
Yeah, your excuse is like, I'm in college, all I have to worry about is class. And then, like... you just, like, stumble back to your place. But then when you're like an adult person, you're like, I'm a real piece of shit, aren't I? And that's just my shitty, jaded view of it because I know people love going out. I'm just boring.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy going out, like, when I'm out. It's kind of like the anticipation of going out.
Yeah.
It's like, to me, it's like going to the gym. Like, I really don't want to go. But then once I put myself in the car and I drive there.
You're there.
I'm there. I'm good to go. I do my thing. Then I leave. Same thing with going to the bar.
See,
or like to a club. I would say going to a bar is different than going to a club.
See, my thing. See, also you work at a bar, so that's a little different as well. But see, the thing is, for me, I'm gonna say this, and I mean it. Going out for girls is probably so much more fun because usually you don't have to pay a cover because you're girls and you're going to a club or bar, and then bouncers and other people want you there, one, for like just whatever reason, two, because you're girls and you're not guys who are going to start a fight and be idiots. If you're a guy at a bar, for me, I've never, ever, once in my entire life tried to pick someone up at a bar. So I'm there with my dumb dude friends, just being me, and then we're like, and then some other asshole bumps into us like, what the fuck, bro, you want to fight? And then I'm like, no. I already had to pay $30 to stand in a room. The last thing I want to do is to get into a physical altercation with you. And then it turns into a whole shit show. And then all the girls are like, oh my god, I had such a good night. It was so much fun. Like, blah, blah, blah. And then the guys are like, yeah, that sucked. I spent like a bunch of money on shit I didn't even get. Like, I spent like $40 to get into a bar and not have anything to drink. Like, what? And then like, if you go with like other friends or there's girls in the group, the girls get let in for free. And then they're like, dumb dudes, you all have to pay. And you're like, man, this sucks. And the other dudes try to fight. Fuck that. No.
Actually, in college, what was it? Oh, there were a couple of guys on my floor one year. And we were all going out to like this. We were all going out in the night. And the guys were like, knocked on our door and was like, how many friends you got? And we're like, what? And he was like, how many friends do you have that are girls? And we're like, I don't know, there's maybe like 6 of us. Like, why? And he was like, if you go to this bar and you bring X amount of girls, we get in for free. So we'll buy you your drinks all night if you help us get into the bar for free. Mm-hmm. So I was like, all right, I'll get like 2 more people.
Yeah, that's like a real thing. Yeah. And as a dude who's like really awkward, I'd be like, I'd go up to a girl and be like, I need your help to get into a bar. And then they'd be like, get the fuck out of here, weirdo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although those guys did ask a couple of months into the school year.
Yeah.
So they kind of established a somewhat friendship first.
Yeah. Sorry, I just hit my arm against a thing. Yeah. No, yeah, definitely. And I mean, they're probably way more smooth and charismatic than I am as a person. And in real life, I'm just like, hello? I would like assistance. Yeah, I'm just so awkward. Like, I have the demeanor of a 6-year-old when I'm out, where I'm just so profoundly scared of everything. And people are like, yeah, let's bring Russell. He's, like, so on top of his game. No.
But it is different depending on where you go out. Like, New York and Chicago
are pretty similar.
Pretty similar. New Jersey depends on where you are.
Mm-hmm. See, my opinion of New Jersey is I've seen Goodfellas.
100%, yeah.
That's my mindset of New Jersey. It's like, I've seen Goodfellas. I know what's up. I've been told
it's Jersey Shore.
Yeah, Pauly D
changed once they got there, obviously. But like the nightlife down there, ooh.
Yeah, I heard it's bonkers because all clubs.
Yeah, I used to go to teen night at Karma. Because that was like the thing. Like if from New Jersey, you go down the shore, it's like you go on teen night.
I don't even know what that is.
So it's basically where it's like, if I remember, it was like one night a month or like every couple of weeks, where it would be like a Thursday night or something, and it would just be like a ton of teens. Like they wouldn't let any like 21-year-olds in.
Oh, okay, yeah, one of those.
Yep. Won't serve alcohol, that whole thing. You just go to Karma before you're legal.
Yeah.
And it was all this people from my high school, the boys' high school, because people know I did go to an all-girls high school.
Yeah.
So them, a couple of the shore kids from their high schools, and that was what you did. You know, your parents dropped you off when it started, and then they picked you back up when it was over.
Yo, we had Donnie, we had like Lou, we had Jimmy, we got Paulie, we had all of them. We went down to the club. It was sweet. One of those.
Yeah. So like I say, well, like it's a thing where like when the show came out, it was like I was on the Jersey Shore before they were. I was in Karma before they were.
You're like, bro, I'm like a Jersey Shore hipster. You don't even know.
Yeah, I was in that same store that they used to work at before they went there, and then they jacked up all the prices in there. Yes, I didn't buy anything, but they jacked up all the prices.
Did you get one of those stupid fucking duck phones?
No.
See, that's something I would definitely have.
I do want the hamburger phone though.
Yeah, those are pretty sweet.
I wanted that one.
See, my house still has a landline. My parents are both. It doesn't matter what my parents do, but there's a reason we have a landline. It's because my parents are drug lords, and we need people to call our landline. Hit us up if you want, like, lots of coke and heroin. Hit me up.
What's mine? Oh, mine is if, like, my mom goes to a store and they ask for a phone number and she doesn't want to give out her cell phone.
Yeah.
So they just go to the house phone.
Yeah.
And there's also another reason why for my dad, but separate.
Yeah, my parents aren't drug lords. I mean, they might be. I have no idea. Like, you never really know. They could be. I don't want to say that they're not drug lords, and then someone's listening to this and be like, hey, man, I buy, like, pounds from your parents. I'm like, oh, shit. Like, I didn't know that's what they do at night.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And if not, you know, like, good for them.
Yeah, good for them for not selling drugs. Thanks, Mom and Dad. Yeah.
Good American citizens right there.
Yeah, that's the show.
Yeah. It's our usual off tangent.
Yeah. Do you have anything to say before we're done?
We didn't get to the topic that we did want to talk about this week.
Fuck that topic. That's all I have to say. We'll do it next week after the time has already come, and when we talk about Jojo Rabbit or The Lighthouse, we're going to talk about one of them probably if we both end up seeing the same film. Because knowing us, we'll both see a different film and be like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's happened before.
It has. It has happened where we're like, oh, let's go see like both of these films. We each see the wrong film, and we're like, shit.
And then we come up with an idea to talk about during the show.
Yeah, or like 5 minutes beforehand, I'll text Arianna and be like, you want to talk about this? And then she's like, yeah, okay. And I'm like, yes, no effort. But yeah, so thanks for listening. This is a podcast. I'm Russell.
I'm Arianna.
Ben's still MIA. Yeah, there's Ben. He's another guy who's been on the show because we had so many different co-hosts recently because of the sporadic schedule. But it will be back to normal scheduling for your favorite podcast. Also, thank you so much for listening, especially if you found me randomly or found Arianna randomly or just like found us through LinkedIn or Facebook or whatever. Thank you so much. I do appreciate it. Send us an email. I'll give you a witty response or something.
Yes, we appreciate you all.
Yeah, I do. Thank you. Call me.